What is going on, Title Tribe? It is your boy, George Reed. I am here doing a Friday episode of TGIF. This guy is fragile. This is the Tour List of Titles injury preview show. We're going to go over all the injuries that you need to know about leading up to this weekend's game. Typically, I am joined by Justin, but as we will see here in a little bit, Justin is currently on the injured reserve. He says it's a back injury. I have my sources as well. I am told it's more of a foot injury. Maybe he's got something going on with the same lines as Christian McCaffrey. Maybe there's something wrong with his Achilles. Maybe he's got plantar fasciitis. Maybe he stubbed a toe. We don't really know, but we will go into a little bit more detail into Justin's injury here in just a few minutes. Let's get into the show. All right. Welcome back. I love that intro. It just makes me want to just get to start dancing a little bit. I am white. I have no dance moves. I am old. I really have no dance moves. But anyway, let's get into the show here. So as I alluded to earlier, typically I am joined by Mom, as Jason affectionately calls him. I like to call him Nurse Justin. He is the head honcho, the big guy here at Tour List of Titles. He is currently out. And the reason he is out is because he's got an injury. Now, as you can see here from this photo, it's something to do with his foot. I'm not exactly sure what is going on in this photo. I do know he looks like he's in a lot of pain. He happens to be grabbing his left foot with his right arm. So I'm not sure if that is plantar fasciitis. I don't know if he stubbed a toe. I'm not sure what is going on there, but that is the reason why Justin cannot join us tonight from my sources. And my sources are unimpeachable. They cannot be questioned. They are top of the line. Adam Schefter wishes he had these sources that I have with regards to what is going on with Justin here. So that is why Justin is not going to be joining us this evening, which is fine. The show will go on. That's all I've got to say, is the show will still go on, okay? Justin, I will do my best to carry this to the end, to go over all these injuries and everything like that. So Justin is commenting. Obviously, he's laid up in a bed somewhere. He's probably got his foot now in a cast. He's probably making poor Lori here. Oh my gosh, does that make me dad? Lori, I hope that doesn't make you dad. It might. I have to check with Jason on the logistics and all that, but I'm hoping no. You're still mom. Justin's mom. Everybody can be mom. It's fine. Anyway, I cannot get distracted by the comments. I have to get into the show because we have a lot to talk about. So, as always, I want to give a shout out to the injury experts. We use a lot of the information, the injury report that they upkeep throughout the week. We use a lot of that information for the show. So I want to thank them. Thank you for Dr. Jesse Morse, who puts all this together. It is absolutely phenomenal, and let's jump right into it. Let's start with quarterbacks. Quarterbacks, I'm going to go with the order that I'm going to do that in is going to be either game. They're going to be either out and not playing. I'll go over those first. I'll go over game time decisions. And then after that, I will go over guys who are on the injury report but are expected to play. So as far as quarterbacks go, as of right now, we don't really have anybody that's officially listed as out. So we're going to jump right into game time decisions. You got Skylar Thompson of the Miami Dolphins. He's dealing with a chest injury. It could be possible it's a fractured rib. 75% chance to play in week 4. I don't think he's going to start. As a Dolphins fan, I hope he doesn't start. I honestly, I think they're going to go with Snoop Huntley. Tyler Huntley, I hope he's the starting quarterback, because if you're a Dolphins fan and you know it, Skylar Thompson could not do anything against that Seahawks defense. He's just not a good quarterback. Another one who was a game time decision, and this is more impactful than Skylar Thompson, is Justin Herbert. He's dealing with a right high ankle sprain. He re-injured it. That's been confirmed. He's risky to play week 4. They do have a bye week in week 5, so it would kind of make sense for them to sit him week 4, allow him to rest it, and then you get that 2-week rest, come back for week 6. They got him listed as a 50% chance of playing. The only other one that we have, and this is good news, Jordan Love from the Green Bay Packers. He's got a left MCL sprain, likely a grade 1. He's likely to return this week. He started practicing last week. He was been spotted at practice this week. So we're kind of keeping our fingers crossed, 75% chance that he plays, but we're hoping that Jordan Love does make it back for the Green Bay Packers this week. Other guys who showed up on the injury report, but there's really no concern for them. We expect them to play. You've got Brock Purdy. He's dealing with a back injury. His MRI was negative, so there's really minimal impact for week 4. Derek Carr from the Saints, he's dealing with a groin injury. It's a moderate injury. It's a left groin strain. Excuse me. It's likely mild, grade 1. He's 100% expected to play. Sam Darnold's dealing with a knee injury. It's most likely it's a bone bruise. He got really lucky. He's got no restrictions for week 4. Patrick Mahomes is also dealing with a knee injury. He tweaked his knee on one of the downs, but he's expected to play. No concerns. It's 2024, folks, and we're talking about Andy Dalton as a starting quarterback in the NFL. It just seems like 50 years ago he was throwing the ball all over the field to A.J. Brown and T.J. Houshmandzadeh, but he is popping up on the injury report. He's got a minor ankle sprain. It's most likely a lateral ankle sprain. There's no real concerns. And then the only other one is Russell Wilson from Pittsburgh. He's got a calf injury he's been dealing with. I believe the Steelers have already ruled him not starting this week. I think they're going again with Justin Fields, and why would they? They're 3-0, and he's been playing pretty decent for them. So why would you go to Russell Wilson when you got Fields doing what he's doing? Let's jump into the running backs. The guys that we know for sure are going to be out. Jaylen Warren, the running back from Pittsburgh, he's dealing with a knee sprain. There's really no details. It's unlikely to play week 4. He's out. Austin Eckler from the Washington Commanders, he's dealing with a concussion. They called it a traumatic brain injury. Needs to clear 5-step protocol by Friday. I don't believe he has cleared that protocol, so I expect him to be out as well. The other guys that are going to be out, no real fantasy impact with Pierre Strong. They expect him to be out. Dameon Pierce is dealing with a ankle and a hamstring strain. They have him as out with a 50% chance to play in week 4. I don't think he plays this week. I think he actually comes back next week. And then other guys that are game time decisions. There's a couple of big ones here that I'm keeping my eye on as well as you should be as well. First one is going to be Joe Mixon. He's dealing with a right high ankle or medial ankle sprain. They're saying it's a 4 to 6 week injury. They have him as a game time decision. I'm not expecting Joe Mixon to play this week. Raheem Mostert is dealing with a chest injury. It could be rib injury. It could be a chest. It could be a pec. It's something in his upper torso area is what they have it listed as. And they have him as a game time decision. I don't think he plays this week, to be honest. Someone who I do expect to play this week that is listed here as a game time decision, and that's Kenneth Walker III from the Seattle Seahawks. He's dealing with an oblique strain. It's likely a grade 2. They said he could miss 3 to 4 weeks. He's been on the report now. This will be week number 3 going into 4 weeks. So he's in that, that window to come back and play. I expect him to play this week. Here are some other guys that have popped up on the injury report. No real concerns about them playing, but it's just something, to put in the back of your brain housing group. Just put it, right back in here. Just know these guys are showing up on the injury report, but there's really no concerns. Alvin Kamara is dealing with a hip and rib injury. It could be a fracture. It could be some cartilage as well. He's probably going to put a flak jacket on, but and to protect him, and they expect him to play. Bijan Robinson is dealing with a mild shoulder injury. It's likely an AC sprain. We're still awaiting a little bit more detail on that, but we expect him to play. Ramondre Stevenson from the New England Patriots is dealing with a hand issue. It's his left pinky finger. It's a sprain or dislocation, but they're not expecting him to miss any time. He's going to tape those things up. What he'll probably do is take his fingers like this, just wrap some tape around it, and he'll call it good. Maybe wear a brace underneath it to protect it. But outside of that, I'm really not expecting, much out of Ramondre Stevenson as far as missing time goes. I expect him to play. Najee Harris, the other running back from Pittsburgh, is dealing with the right AC sprain. It's likely a type 1. He's 50-50 for week 4. I expect him to play. If he does not play, and we've already ruled out Jaylen Warren, check your waivers for Cordell Patterson. He led the team in rushing. He had 63 yards on, I think it was like 12 touches or something like that last week. But he came over from Atlanta, and Arthur Smith loves Cordell Patterson. He will use Cordell Patterson whenever he can. So that is a name that in deeper leagues, he should have been added, honestly, during the waiver period. But if he's still there and you have Najee Harris, I would pick up Cordell Patterson if he's still available, just to stash him. Not saying he's going to play, not saying I would start him, but if Najee Harris is ruled out, then Cordell Patterson's going to be a full go because Patterson's out, Warren's out. Next man up is Cordell Patterson, and he should be able to put up a pretty decent fantasy day for you. Other guys showing up on the list, we're not overly concerned about. These are all new guys. Jerome Ford and Bucky Irvin. Jerome Ford's got a minor knee sprain. He's likely playing. Bucky Irvin from Tampa has got a minor hamstring strain. They got him as a 75% chance to play week 4. I expect him to play. A couple other guys dinged up from the running back position, but nothing really to be overly concerned about. Aaron Jones is dealing with the hip flexor or a hip pointer, but they expect him to play. Rashad White is dealing with a groin strain. He's going to be in a running back by committee with Bucky Irvin going forward. Tank Bigsby and Tajee Spears. Tajee Spears is dealing with an ankle sprain. He says he's playing. If you know Tajee Spears, that should not surprise you. He's a tough son of a gun. We here at Told Us the Title absolutely love Tajee Spears at Tulane. Big, huge supporters of him and the Tulane program. Shout out to Nino Brown for putting us onto him because man, we love ourselves some Tajee Spears. Tank Bigsby from Jacksonville is dealing with a shoulder injury. Just a minor shoulder injury. He's expected to play. No real concern there. And that is it for the running backs. Whew, that was a lot of running backs, and we're only halfway done with the show. I'm going to skip wide receivers, and I'm going to go right to tight ends. Justin's not here to chastise me for going out of order, but there's a lot of wide receivers to go over. So before I dive deep into the wide receivers, I just want to go over these tight ends real quick. There's probably about 12 of them, 10 of them. Really, not a lot of them are major concerns, and not a lot of them are guys that you're relying on anyway because they've been out of the lineup now for a couple of weeks. So starting out with the big one, big news today, Trey McBride. He's dealing with a concussion. They got him labeled as a traumatic brain injury. Needs to clear 5-step protocol by Friday. He's already been ruled out for this week, so no Trey McBride for the Cardinals this week. Excuse me. Michael Mayer for the Las Vegas Raiders. He's out, and they only have it listed as personal reasons. I'm not sure what is going on with that. I'll actually have to look more into that because I really don't know. But that's what they have for him. Evan Ingram, he's already been ruled out again this week. He's dealing with the hamstring strain. He strained it in warmups, which is really concerning. Because if he injures it during the game, he gets that whole week extra to heal. But he injured this right before the game, so he put you in a pickle last week or the week before, you're going into the game, you got Evan Ingram in your lineup, he's like a set it, forget it tight end. And all of a sudden you get that little alert on your phone right before kickoff. Hey, Evan Ingram's out and you're stuck unless Brenton Strange was available. Like you had to make an immediate pivot, and it wasn't an easy one. But he is out again this week. And the last one they have out is David Njoku. He's got a right high ankle sprain. He returned to practice on September 26th. Could return for weeks 5 or 6. So maybe he comes back next week. Most likely no later than the following week, week 6. But yeah, those are the guys that are out. Here are your game time decisions. Sam Laporta is dealing with an ankle sprain. It's a right lateral ankle sprain. Monitor him in practice. Right now they have him as a 50-50 chance at going this week. So keep your eye out on Sam Laporta. And the only other one they have on here that is a game time decision is Luke Musgrave. He's dealing with a quadriceps issue. He's got a big bruise on his muscle. Like he's got a gun like me, and it's bruised. Mine aren't bruised because I'm very protective. I don't allow people to hit me in the biceps, or the quadriceps, but he does, and they get bruised. So he's dealing with those bruises. He's a game time decision. I think it'll just be a pain tolerance thing with him. Speaking of Green Bay tight ends, Tucker Kraft popped up as a new addition to the injury report. He's dealing with a shoulder injury. They got a re-injury to shoulder or new injury is what they have listed. They're not exactly sure. He is dealing with a shoulder injury, but they expect him to play. Cole Kmet, who literally came out of nowhere last week to win you your fantasy week for the most part, he is dealing with an abdomen issue. He returned to the game, so he's going to play again this week. But just be aware, he is a little dinged up. I wouldn't expect him to blow up again like he did last week. But, go Cole Kmet, I guess. I don't know. George Kittle's dealing with the hamstring strain. He strained it September 18th. Week 4 is 50-50. So they have him as a moderate chance to play this week. Taysom Hill is dealing with a chest injury. He suffered a bruised lung. They expect him to return this week. Jake Ferguson from Dallas is dealing with a knee injury. It's a left MCL sprain and plus a bone bruise. They expect it to be 100% by week 6. He played last night. He actually did pretty good for you if you're in a PPR league or a tight end premium league where you get extra points for tight end receptions. I think he had like 7 receptions. So he did pretty good for you last week. The last one is they got George Fant. I'm assuming that's Noah Fant. He's dealing with the lingering toe injuries, likely turf toe, but they expect him to play. Whew. Like I said, there was only 12 tight ends. That I wanted to get those out of the way because I've got to go over 33 wide receivers. So I wanted to save the bulk of the show for the last section here. Yeah. All right. Guys who are out. Devontae Adams is dealing with the hamstring strain. Hopefully it's a grade 1, but they have him listed as out for this week. Devonta Smith, they have him listed as out, dealing with a concussion or a traumatic brain injury. Needs to clear the 5-step protocol. I don't believe he's cleared it yet, so I don't think he's going to play this week. Remember, ever since Tua Tagovailoa had those really bad concussions in a primetime game against the Buffalo Bills a couple of years ago, these guys typically take their NFL is being extremely cautious with them. It's taking more than 1 week for these guys to come back to play. If you suffer a concussion in game, most likely you're not playing the following week. At least that has been the trend from what I've seen last season and so far into this season. It used to be where if you suffered a concussion, you could probably play the next week. No, that's not happening anymore. So if you see one of your guys or one of your players on your team that you're a fan of, if they suffer a concussion, most likely they are out a couple of weeks. They're not going to be back the next week, most likely. Has it happened? Yeah. It has happened since the Tua injury, but it's very rare. It is the exception. It is not the rule, and that is for sure. So just keep that in mind. If you've got a guy on your team that has a concussion, most likely he is not playing the following week. Another guy they've got listed as out is Houston wide receiver Tank Dell. He's dealing with really his whole body, ribs, hand, and wrist. He's got a rib bruise and general soreness. They have him as out. Adam Thielen is dealing with the hamstring. He's been put on short-term IR, so he is out. It's a hamstring strain, grade 2, placed on IR. Surgery is not needed. That is good. He'll be able to come back. Does not require surgery. Happy for Adam Thielen that he does not require surgery. Brian Covey, I don't know who that is. He's for Philadelphia. I'm sure he's like their 5th or 6th wide receiver. He made the injury list here. He's on short-term IR. No fantasy impact, but he suffered a fractured left scapula. He's going to be out 6 weeks. Again, no fantasy impact with him at all. Jalen McMillan, not really a whole lot of fantasy impact, but if you're a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, you were excited about Jalen McMillan. He is out. He's got a hamstring strain that he suffered on September 27th, so he will be out. As we know, Cooper Kupp is out, left high ankle sprain by video. He does not need IR. Hopefully he'll be back soon. Excuse me. All right, so those are everybody out. Now let's get into the game time decisions. And there's a couple of those here. Not Cooper Kupp, I'm sorry. Right below him is A.J. Brown, Philadelphia 76ers, dealing with a hamstring issue. He suffered the hamstring strain on September 12th. They said likely out 2 to 3 weeks. That is, right around this time. So they have him as a game time decision. They got him as a 25% chance to play. Deebo Samuel from the San Francisco 49ers is dealing with a calf strain. Most likely it was a grade 1. They said he could miss 2 to 3 weeks. He's listed at his 50% chance to go this week, so he's a true game time decision. Joshua Palmer, everybody was excited about him at the preseason for the Los Angeles Chargers. Los Angeles Chargers, excuse me. I almost wanted to call them San Diego Chargers. Little throwback there. Excuse me. Joshua Palmer from the Chargers dealing with elbow and a calf injury. New elbow injury plus a calf strain. He's a game time decision. They have him listed as a 50% chance to go. Somebody who I've been excited to see in the NFL. I got to watch this kid at the Senior Bowl, got to interview him at the Senior Bowl this past year. Super, super excited to see him actually suit up and get to play in a meaningful game. Hopefully it's very soon, and that is my guy Roman Wilson from the Pittsburgh Steelers. He had a high ankle sprain. He was been a healthy scratch. I got him as a 50% chance of playing this week. I hope he does get to play. I was super, super excited about him at the Senior Bowl. I liked the way he interacted and took a challenge head on from Coach Mike Tomlin at the Senior Bowl, and then watch Tomlin turn around and draft him. Hopefully, we don't have to wait much longer to see this kid play. I am really, really high on that kid. Malik Washington of the Miami Dolphins is dealing with a quadriceps bruise. He's a 50% game time decision to play. Again, that's not going to be very much fantasy impact at all right there. Let me get another sip of water, and then I'll go over everybody else on this list. I appreciate you bearing with me. I'm not used to doing solo shows, and this is just killing my throat, all this talking. All right, let's do this. Jamar Chase is dealing with a minor shoulder injury. It's likely a type 1 AC sprain. Mild dip in performance, but he's going to play. He's a tough guy. Nico Collins is dealing with a hamstring, new hamstring strain Wednesday or Thursday. He's kind of risky for week 4. I don't like it when these guys pop up on the injury report midweek. It's really, really concerning. But then that's the case here with Nico Collins. He popped up with a hamstring issue. Rashee Rice has got a minor ankle injury. No, for those wondering, there's no ankle monitor there. Not yet anyway. But he's dealing with a minor ankle injury. No concerns for week 4. He's expected to play. Marvin Harrison of Arizona Cardinals is dealing with a quadriceps bruise. Not concerning at all. He's expected to play. Amari Cooper is dealing with a hip injury. It's a right hip pointer. By the video, it's mostly mild. They expect him to play. Deontay Johnson from the Carolina Panthers is dealing with a groin injury. It's a mild groin strain, slightly re-injury risk, but overall he'll play week 4. So there is a chance he can re-injure it, but it's not going to prevent him from playing as it currently stands. So that is good, especially now that they have a quarterback there who can actually throw the ball. Sorry, I shouldn't be crapping on Bryce Young. The kid does not deserve it. Mike Evans from Tampa Bay is dealing with a mild knee sprain. No concerns for week 4. Same thing with Chris Godwin, but he's dealing with a mild neck sprain. Again, no concerns for week 4. Justin Jefferson is dealing with a finger injury. It's his right pinky finger. Likely it's a minor dislocation, but again, they expect him to play. He'll take his hand. If it's bad, put a brace, wrap some tape. Justin Jefferson will be good to go. He'll be playing. Darius Slayton from the New York Giants has a thumb injury. It's a mild sprain. They played last night, so hopefully, 10 days for it to heal. Jaden Reed from the Green Bay Packers is dealing with a quadricep / calf injury. It's likely a bruise. It's just a nagging calf injury. There's minimal concerns. The thing that does concern me is the soft tissue issues with a lot of these players. Like, they do tend to linger. So you hope he can work through it. Roma Dunze from the Chicago Bears is dealing with a hip injury. It's most likely mild. They fully expect him to play. T. Higgins dealing with a hamstring strain, likely to return week 3, which he did. There is a moderate risk for re-injury for the hamstring. Again, it's a soft tissue issue. So just be aware of it. But he did return last week. He did okay in his return. Nothing fancy, nothing amazing. Typically, it takes a little bit of time to work up from a hamstring injury anyway. So that was to be expected. Michael Pittman Jr. of the Indiana Colts is dealing with a back injury and a calf injury. New injuries on Friday report. It's unclear exactly what's going on there, but it is very concerning. Again, these guys who pop up on the injury report on Thursday, Friday from practice are very, very concerning. So that is something to definitely monitor. And this is a case where I wish Justin was here. Being the Colts fan, he would have some more insight in on this. But again, Justin can't be here because he's out injured. And I mean, he's injured. I can't expect him to perform at his peak, and I can't trust him on the field if he is injured. So we have to send out some thoughts and prayers to Justin. Hopefully he can deal with all that traumatic injury that he has there going on, and hopefully he can be back in a couple of weeks. Where did we leave off? T. Higgins, Michael, Rashid Shaheed. So that name 5 times fast. He's dealing with a mild hip injury. He's expected to play. Greg Dortch from the Arizona Cardinals dealing with the hamstring. He played through week 3, but he was very limited. Should be better in week 4. He made it through the week, didn't get injured, didn't re-injure it. So I know somewhere out there, Laquan Jones has his picture of Greg Dortch. It is up on the wall. He's lighting incense. He's lighting candles. He's saying his prayers for Dortch to come back because he has been all over Greg Dortch all offseason, and I want him to succeed in being able to make that call correct because I bought into it as well. Jordan Addison from the Minnesota Vikings is dealing with an ankle injury. It's a moderate concern. It's the right lateral ankle sprain. Previous, he had a left high ankle. He's most likely to return this week. If not this week, he should be back for sure by next week. Keenan Allen from the Chicago Bears is dealing with the heel. It's plantar fasciitis on his right heel. I've had plantar fasciitis. It sucks. It actually went away from me with the cortisone shot. Hopefully it'll be the same thing for him. But I can tell you right now, I'm not a professional athlete. I know that may shock some people watching, but a plantar fasciitis is an extremely painful, extremely annoying injury to have, especially when you're a professional athlete like Keenan Allen. So hopefully, a cortisone shot is all it takes to get him right. Devon Veal from Denver is dealing with a rib injury. He fractured his ribs, plus got some cartilage damage, but they expect him to play. And that is it. That is the end of all of our injuries. We went through a lot there. There was a lot of injuries. It is that time of the year here for the NFL. We discussed 9 quarterbacks, 17 running backs, 28 wide receivers, and 12 tight ends. Total of 66 individual injuries that we just went over. If you are one of those guys who are your fantasy team is just plagued with injuries, don't feel bad. It is happening to all of us across multiple leagues. It's just a part of the game. You're going to have to play the waiver wire. Maybe sell a little lower than you would on some of these players. I know if I had Christian McCaffrey, I would be selling him for 75 cents on the dollar. I'm more concerned than most about him. I don't like the fact that he had to go to, I think it was Germany. Was it Germany? Yeah, I think it was Germany to seek treatment for his injury. Like, that is just extremely concerning, and I don't like it at all. So if you could sell these guys, if you could trade them 75 cents on the dollar, if they're long-term injuries, I absolutely would consider it, because you can get nothing now or you can get 75% now, which, I mean, especially guys who are going to be more long-term. You spent a lot of high draft capital in, like, get something in return on your investment. But also know you're not alone. We're all suffering the same fate. This has been, I don't want to say it's been the worst year for injuries I can remember, because I say that almost every year, but it's been pretty rough. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. As you can see right down below here on the ticker, you can support us at patreon.com/titles. We have a Patreon tier for every pay rank that you have. I mean, it starts out at $2.99 a month. That's less than a cup of coffee at McDonald's at this point, and it goes all the way up to $25 a month. You can get into our Discord, our Patreon only Discord, where we give out our waiver wire ads of the week. We will answer. You have unfettered access to everybody here at the Toilets and Titles teams. We do special shows, special AMAs. We really do try to take care of our patrons. So if you want to throw us a little bit of support, a couple dollars right down there, Toilets Titles, patreon.com/Toilets Titles. Again, I want to thank Dr. Jesse Morris and the Fantasy Doctors for the injury experts spreadsheet that we get all of our injury information from. You guys are out here doing God's work, because there's no way myself or Justin could put together as much detailed information as you guys do on a weekly basis. So I want to thank you guys for the work that you do. And again, hopefully, Justin, our thoughts and prayers are with you through this traumatic time that you're going through. Hopefully, you get better and you can come back and we can sit down and we can talk. We will talk about your injury and how it affected you both physically and mentally. Until then, for myself, for the injured Justin, and really for everybody here at Toilets Titles, we want to thank you very much. Have a great day.